Hello everyone, and welcome to my very first review of a game. I was lucky enough to get into the limited VIP beta of Active Aggression. And I'm going to get into what Active Aggression is, who makes it, and what I thought of this first look at this game still in early beta, so things are subject to change. Active Aggression is a real-time strategy game, harkening back to the heyday of the genre back in the late 90s, early 2000s. The classic and most successful of the genre was Command & Conquer, probably one of my favorite games of all time. However, EA bought out the CNC series and proceeded with the normal EA business model of buying a popular series, cutting as many corners as possible to make profit, and then when people realize it's crap, they just discard it. You know, like they're doing with Maxis and the Sim franchise right now. Sorry, sometimes I just can't contain my anger for EA, but we're here to talk about Active Aggression and their maker, Eugen Systems, a French company founded in 2000 and based out of Paris. After EA killed the CNC series, it left a void in my heart for a military-style RTS. And thank God for Steam sales, because I saw a few $5 RTSs on sale, and I figured I'd try it out. It was back in the day. A game called Ruse was my first encounter with Eugen Systems, and it had a unique twist on the RTS system with ruses like fake assaults and hiding your units to trick your enemies. It was a great game and my first introduction to Eugen Systems. However, it didn't quite have that feel I really wanted. It was a different type of game. Next game ever that I found from Eugen System is probably my second favorite RTS ever. Also found on a Steam sale for practically nothing. The game was called Wargame Airland Battle, and now there's a new one called Red Dragon. Wargame has sold over 1 million copies worldwide, yet it's still relatively unknown, but it's undoubtedly funding the creation of Active Aggression. Wargame is a super realistic essentially a war game with thousands of units from militaries around the world. I mean, it's a super hardcore game though. Each game lasts for more than an hour. It's real fun, and you could have over 10 versus 10 player matches, which really makes it feel like a war. And I love this game to death, and I highly recommend it to anyone looking for a great RTS. I've already clocked in almost 400 hours on war games. The game looks particularly amazing when you can zoom in, but the game basically requires you to zoom out to get a look at battlefield awareness and micro your troops, and you sadly miss out on how good the game can look when you zoom in. But what we're really here is for the first look and impressions of Active Aggression. Like I mentioned before, Eugen System is bringing us back to the heyday of the RTS. Bringing back something I miss forever now, strategic base building and base defense. Just something that's been missing in games. The game is set in the future after the Great Shanghai Crash, where the Chinese economy has collapsed just like Russia's economy back when the Soviet Union fell. This plunges the world in a Great Depression worse than the 1920s. There are 3 factions in this game. The Cartel, a shadowy group of elites in the highest echelons of government, business, and militaries around the world. Think of the idea of like the New World Order or Hydra in the Marvel MCU. Their playstyle is going to be fragile and expensive, but stealthy and powerful, with access to the best top secret weapons in the world. The next faction is the Chimera, an elite group funded by select UN member states to combat a cartel takeover of the EU, if they ever tried to do a Shanghai-type economy crash in Europe. The playstyle for them is going to be very flexible commando teams with ability to be either highly specialized units or just jack of all trades. Their big thing is flexibility. None of those factions are playable yet. The only faction in this beta is the US Army, which is also, I love the story here too. The US Army was involved in a third Iraq war, which started a conflict with Iran. The US won the war at great cost, but with the worldwide depression, the continuing wars, and budget cut, the US Army has been limited to their old equipment, pretty much. So they're still using their tried and true units like the Apache and the A1 Abrams battle tanks. However, they still are the most powerful fighting force on Earth. Okay, to be honest, it took a long time to get this review out, and that's pretty much because it was a limited 3-day beta test, and I wanted to keep playing. That's how much I really love this game. And just again, guys, this is beta, so things are subject to change. So you start with a command center and a recon unit. And the first thing you need to do is start securing resources, and they come in 3 different types: oil and money, aluminum, and rare earth elements. As you send out your recon unit, you'll start seeing these resources around the map, and you can build refineries to collect them and bring them back to your base. There's also a few other cool and clever ways to earn money that I really love about this game. One of those methods is capturing banks. So throughout the map there's a couple of banks located in strategic, often highly contested areas. And all you have to do is garrison soldiers inside, and that's right, you can garrison your infantry into buildings on the map. The more you have in a bank, the faster they loot them. And the other clever way, and the one way that I think is really unique, is you could earn cash by capturing enemy units. So when a vehicle blows up or infantry gets wounded, because not all of them will die, some will die, some will live but become captured prisoners of war, and they'll stay there with their hands up and surrender, essentially. And you can send your infantry in and collect them for cash. I just think this is a clever, cool idea. Later in the game you can actually exchange POWs, prisoners of war, for cash and money. Other things you could do in this game is you have to manage the space around your base for a good flow as the resource trucks come in, which I think is a good thing. Just really having strategic base building is the base building is what I really missed in these games. Another thing you have to manage too is the power to your building. So all buildings run on power, and you need it to run. So
At your service, sir.
if you notice the lower right hand corner, there's 3 different tech levels, and they go by the name of DEFCON 3, 2, and 1. You start at DEFCON 3, and this gives you the basics like refineries, barracks, light vehicles, etc. At DEFCON 2, this is going to unlock heavier vehicles like the A1 Abrams tanks and artillery, and your air power like helicopters. And for the US military, you get B-2 stealth bombers, fighting raptors, a lot of cool stuff, and it's managed pretty well. At DEFCON 1, just like it is in real life, means nuclear war is imminent, so it unlocks the US Peacekeeper tactical nuke and a special refinery to collect the rare earth element resource, which is needed for elite units. Did I mention how good this game looks at its early stage? I mean, just look at the details and structure of the units when zoomed in. I am just really impressed in the details of the houses and the units. Now, base defenses are something I missed in real-time strategy for a while, and the US has 3 different ones at each DEFCON. The first being the machine gun nest, the phalanx cannon, and the Patriot missile system. The Patriot can be used to shoot down incoming nukes. Boy, I bet this guy wish he had a Patriot on him before this happened to him. There's also a lot of upgrades that can be done to most of your buildings and units. Things like the armor can do upgrades to vehicles. Other units themselves have upgrades, like the Humvee can upgrade it to tow missiles so they can fight vehicles more effectively, or heavy machine guns. The same thing with machine gun nests. They could also be upgraded with tows or Stinger missiles to both fight more effectively against vehicles or aircraft. Now, one cool feature of the game that I really like and is unique is when you unlock your radar station, which allows you to build aircraft, it also allows a satellite view. It's just such a great idea. It's a zoomed out mode, which gives you a better situational awareness by highlighting enemies and allies, and it's very helpful in controlling your aircrafts when they're coming in. Now, there's plenty of types of units in the game, from basic infantry, helicopters, APCs, tanks, artillery, mortar teams. I love the addition of artillery and mortar teams. And the real trick to combat I found in this game, just like in War Game, is combined arms. You want a good mix of units supporting each other if you really want to go for the win. There's also repair units that can fix tanks in the field, or medevac Blackhawks that can be built at the field hospital that you can load in with troops or evac troops and heal troops with. Like in this one case, in the center of the map, there's an island with a bank, so it's closed off to any vehicle rushes, but you can load up your Blackhawk, and for me, I sent a strike team in there and captured that bank for myself. The combat in this game, it's just great. Already, it feels well balanced. Even in its first round of beta, I'm very impressed with it. It's very polished. On a particularly fun thing I noticed was a unit called the Blaze anti-aircraft unit. I believe with one of its upgrades, I think I need the upgrade to have it do this, but it can shoot down incoming enemy missiles at my tanks. And this is what I mean by the combined arms really playing in effect. Because if I didn't have the Blaze taking out the Javelin shooting at my Abrams, they would have been done. And it just looks awesome when they shoot these missiles out of the air. Overall, I think the game is fun and addicting. Like I mentioned before, I couldn't stop playing even to do this review. I knew I was going to lose being the first mover, having the video out there first and getting the review out there first, but I didn't care because I just wanted to keep playing. I just didn't want to take away that time. I also want to give out a big shout out to Eugen Systems, because they're actually allowing beta testers to stream and make videos about the game. Most betas I've been in before strictly forbid you, even ban people for taking simple screenshots. And again, I'm looking at you, EA. There are some minor things that I could complain about, but I do mean minor. I would like the addition of, say, walls to secure around my base. I wish I could angle the camera down a little bit downwind more so I could get a better view of the battlefield. I know that's kind of what the satellite view will do for you, but I really want just to have that long look down the screen, because I think it'll just look better. But really, that's one of the few things I could think to even add or complain about. Overall, I give this beta a 9 out of 10, and I'm hoping that when the game's released, it's going to be a full 10 out of 10. I could see this game being a $1 million+ seller and taking hours, and I mean hours, out of my life to a big smile to my face. If you like to see more videos like this one, some Let's Plays, and in general fun, please subscribe, like, and share the video, of course, because it'll help my young and growing YouTube channel. And of course, I want to hear from you guys and what you think, so please leave a comment below or send me a message on Twitter at iSin Gaming. Play on, players, and I'll see you next time.